Uh, they are the higher level overview of Ariba solution. What is Ariba? Then we'll look into the Ariba network, which is the backbone of Ariba. Then we'll see how source to pay process will be categorized or uh, turned out in Ariba. Then we'll see the methodology, how Ariba implemented, and if time permits, we'll see Ariba roadmap and solution demo, dashboard navigation we'll see. Okay. So just a background of Ariba. What is Ariba? Where it came from? Founded by who? So Ariba was founded by Steve Crouch in 1996 with their 6 friends. So main motto of Ariba is to use internet to enable companies to improve procurement process. So the main motto of their inventing Ariba is to use usage of internet for their business procurement process. So Ariba provides spend management solutions which can manage the spend of your organization, which will ultimately lead to the cost saving, business process efficiency. I'll tell you how cost saving and business process efficiency comes into picture. Right. As I told, Ariba network is a backbone of Ariba, which is a largest B2B network, having more than 1+ million of supplier and buyer collaborating with each other on the same network, same platform. So the main competitor of Ariba are GEP, Proactis, Bravo Solutions. So all these are into same market, but just competitors of Ariba. You might be knowing that Ariba is in two series. That is, one is on-premises solution and another is cloud solution. We have two different types of solution. So on cloud is something which is we need not to have any servers. Everything will be maintained by SAP Ariba. We just need to have a credential, and we can use with the help of URL. So on premises version of Ariba has been stopped. I mean, they are not releasing new versions of Ariba on premises. They are continuing with the cloud solutions. So are we clear with this? If you have any doubt, just let me know. I mean, you can interrupt me anywhere.
Rakesh, what is like Ariba on premise? Like any changes can be done by ourselves, or like Ariba on demand, we have to for any changes on screen or anything we have to send to Ariba. But when it comes to Ariba on premise, if any changes that can be done ourselves, that is our Ariba on premise, is it?
Actually, what is premise? On premises means you are buying the complete product license. So you will be the owner of the product in on premises. So any changes can be done by yourself.
Okay.
But in on cloud, you will be having only limited rights or limited admin rights to. Excuse.
Actually, there is a voice break. I don't know. Can you come closer to mic and speak? Sorry, I cannot hear you properly.
Is it audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
So in on premises, you will be buying the complete product license. So in that you will be the ownership of your product. There will be a physical server present at your end. So you can do whatever changes you want, whatever customization you want. But in on cloud, you will be sharing the cloud solution. So there you will have only limited rights or limited admin rights to do. You cannot do complete customization, or you cannot do complete changes in the product or UI. So everything will be taken care by SAP Ariba. If you want, you can change, but that is taken care by SAP Ariba. You need to raise a SR or any contact customer support. They will be responding to you.
No.
Yeah, so let's now talk about the Ariba Solution Suite. What is Ariba Solution Suite? I mean, what are the products, modules Ariba is providing us? So in very high level, we have 5 different modules with different solutions. Like these are all combo packs, we can say, like Ariba Spend Visibility, Ariba Collaborative Sourcing, Ariba Procurement on Demand, and Collaborative Finance Commerce. So I'll explain you about the products, what are the packages or what are the modules comes in these packages. In Ariba Spend Visibility, we'll get complete spend visibility or, and data enrichment tool, which will help you to analyze your spend depending upon the last historical procurement or historical spend. So these tools help in have their own matriculation or data enrichment tools, which will help you to go further with a good procurement matrix. Next comes the collaborative sourcing. In this we'll have 3 different solutions: sourcing module, contract management, and Ariba SIPM, supplier information and performance management. So in this we have 3 modules. In collaborative sourcing, 3 modules will be covered. In procurement on demand, we'll have complete P2P, P2O, invoicing, Ariba Spot Quote, Spot Buy. So all these solutions will be covered in Ariba Procurement on Demand. Now comes the collaborative finance and collaborative commerce. So both are something related to the network side, in which we have APC, Ariba Procurement Content, and Ariba invoicing solution. So we have different solutions in network. The only difference between these two are we will have catalogs in collaborative commerce, which is not present in finance. So don't panic. I'll explain you about the solution. What is network? What are the solution? In which way they are covered, in procurement. I'll explain you about this. So before going to the Ariba solution, I'll just wanted to focus more light on network side. What is network? When I'm saying network, it is different from solution. We have 2 different URLs, like one is for network and one is for our solution. So what is network? Ariba network is something which is like as similar as Facebook or LinkedIn, where we connect, collaborate, do transaction. Here in business terms, we connect, collaborate, and do our business. I think it's more visible now. So network is something where the solution connect with the network, and from network it will be connected to the supplier, from buyer, network to the supplier. So it's a 3-way communication, or a 3-tier communication, we can say. So network is open to every technology, where it can be connected or integrated to any technology or any vendor portal, and it is intelligent. I'll give an example how it is intelligent. For suppose if we have invoice processing, invoice in for any order PO, so we can set some features or some intelligence stating that I want to reconcile my PO with receipt or PO. I want to reconcile my invoice with PO or receipt. So we can set such type of intelligence in network. So we have 1 million plus global trading company, including buyer and supplier, and it is globally present in 190 countries, and 172 currencies are supported by Ariba, having 60 localized languages. So I think you should, if you have any doubt, let me know, because network is the key part for Ariba. What is network? If you have any doubt, just let me know, so that I can understand what is a understanding accordingly we can proceed.
Rakesh, you mean network is like a place where suppliers and buyers collaborate together and they do their business, like they
Yeah.
for for specifications or contract or any communication that has to be done through a network, and that is Ariba network.
Exactly, exactly. It is not, on our part will be not or on part. It will be something different URL because solution URL will be different. Solution setup will be different. We will be connecting through our solution to network. At the same time, supplier will also have different portal, supplier portal. So they will connect from their end to the network. So the transaction will be taken care in the network through our solutions or our portals. And when we come for the supplier end, supplier presence are global. As I said, it's there in 190 countries with 172 currencies and 60 languages. It is secured. We have virus scanning for documents. Each and every document will be scanned for malware. And as I said, due to global presence, supplier will have new business opportunities like that. And it is integrated. It is out of the box integrated with different third-party tools like PayPal for discoverment for their account transaction, and it is also integrated with Thomas Industrial Network, DocuSign. So these are all third-party tools which are comes with out-of-the-box integration. So any doubts? You want me to explain how these are integrated? I mean, what is the reason for integration of these third-party tools?
Yeah, please, please. Yes, please.
For suppose, generally what happens, I mean, in day-to-day scenario, we can see when we order food from Food Panda. So we only install our Food Panda tool in our system, but we can pay through different third-party tools like Paytm, MobiKwik, or something like that. So this comes with out-of-the-box integration where they support for the payment of the partner or their like Food Panda. So in the same way, in Ariba network, the amount transaction can be taken care by Discover Bank or PayPal. And Thomas Industrial Network, which is another second big B2B network, which is comes with out-of-the-box integration. I mean, both are integrated seamlessly. So they can access Thomas Industrial Network suppliers and buyers as well. And DocuSign, which is something different, which used in contract management where both buyer and supplier will sign on a contract on a same where both will connect and collaborate, and for any contract they do a signature, e-signature on contracts. So this is about DocuSign. And DNB is something Duns and Bradstreet, which is for there for physical verification of the supplier, whether a supplier are genuine or not. So these are all supporting network supporting third parties present in Ariba. So that's from the network side. If you have any doubt, let me know for network side. Otherwise, we'll proceed for next slide.
I have one small question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, as of now, like assume supplier, there's one XYZ supplier working has Java, .NET, and different technologies, and if they want to sell their products, so they need to integrate with Ariba with their technology, or they need to register in Ariba.
Let me rephrase your question. You're saying that supplier is working with Java.NET.
Yeah.
Can you let me know what is the product they are selling? Because whatever technology they are working, they might be having some product, right, to sell. supplier.
Assume it's an automobile company. It's an automobile company, and sorry, it sells automobile parts,
Okay.
parts or services, and the customer wants some of its parts or
Okay.
services. So in such case, like how the integration happens between Ariba and the third party, like Java technology, is it like it happens this way? Some integration, or they have to come into Ariba uh, technology?
Good question. Actually, what happens, as I said, it's a cloud application. You need not to have any Java or any other technology in your for your company. So what happens? You will be having catalogs. I'll show you the dashboard how suppliers and buyer collaborate. I'll show you. So what happens? It's a cloud platform. You will be getting your URL, supplier URL. When you are in supplier side, you'll be getting your supplier URL once you register the network. In supplier URL, you can load your catalogs, which are nothing but your automobile parts. You can load over there. It's very simple. You can load one by one, or you can load it directly through a CSV file, Excel sheet. So there, once you loaded your catalog, whatever automobile parts, if you want to connect with buyer, so it will go for buyer approval. He see whether the rates are all perfect or not. He'll approve. When you're doing business with the buyer, it will go for the approval. Once he approved, you are good to go. So it's as easy as that. You'll be having your own login ID and credential. You can log into that. It's a cloud application. You need not to maintain any server on your side, physical server, or you need not to have any technical person. A functional consultant or any end user can well maintain the site.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rakesh.
So now moving on to the standard procurement process, how a standard procurement process takes place in our daily to daily life. So let's start with some I want to buy 1,000 laptops for my company. So how it process, because when we talk 1,000 or 5,000 of laptops, we cannot go directly to any shopkeeper and ask for those. So we should have proper planning for that. So we will raise a request for a requisition for those laptops. Once we raise a requisition, it will go for approval to the higher authority. Once the requisition is approved, it will go for order status. Once the requisition is ordered, changed into order state, it will keep on populating the status. I mean, whatever tool you are using, though it's offline or online, it will give us the status of the requisition. Then once the good is received, or whatever material we ordered is received, it will go for it will generate receipt. Once receipt is generated, invoice will be sent accordingly. So before going to the payment, generally what happens in Ariba, we'll go for three-way or two-way reconciliation. Reconciliation is nothing but cross-checking of the invoice. So we'll check with receipt and PO whether these PO, receipt and invoice are matching or not. Once these three are matched, it will go for payment. So this is one side of the coin, how it's taken place. So before going to the requisition, before raising a request, when we are going for a huge procurement, we should have contract in place from which we create this requisition. So where this contract came from? So we should have proper plan for that, proper when we go for any procurement, we'll generally in day-to-day procurement or household procurement also, we'll analyze what is our last spend, whether we spend on this material, who is our supplier, from where we bought it, from which shopkeeper we bought it. So we'll do an analyze. Depending on the analytics, we'll come to one conclusion. We'll have one plan. Okay, last time I bought it from here, that was my discount, so we'll go for new supplier. What would be our discount? So these all are things, we plan accordingly. Once we plan, we search for new supplier. Okay, any suppliers are there. So in this way, we'll go for, once we finalized with supplier, we are clear with our requirement. What is our requirement? What is the quality configuration? What should be the laptop configuration? We'll go for negotiations, auction or RFI, RFX. Once the supplier is finalized, we'll create one contract for that material. And the rest of the process is as I said. So it starts with analytics, analyzing the data, then planning. It comes all the way from contract to the requisition and the status of the order, and it goes for the payment. So this is the complete life cycle of any procurement process. It's a standard one, not normally standard one. It's not, I'm talking about specific to Ariba. So any doubts in this? I'll tell you how it's carried out in Ariba.
Goods receipt confirmation can be done either by a requester or by supplier also. Rakesh? Actually, and from SRM side, we can do goods receipt either ERP system or SRM system. So it happens in the same way happens in SRM, Ariba?
As same as in SRM. It can be done through the supplier or through the buyer as well.
Invoice, it should be done by
actually SRM, I don't know, I'm not sure about that, but SRM is no more continued by SAP, I think, right?
Yeah. I didn't understand.
Ariba is something fulfilling SRM requirement as well as MM requirement as partially. So that is the reason it's coming out to be good technology.
Yeah, correct. And how about invoice? Invoice is done by invoice is done by buyer or supplier?
Invoice will be done by supplier. I mean, it will be created from supplier and sent to the buyer.
Okay. Okay. Then that. Okay. Thank you.
So this is how Ariba source to settle process carried out. As I said, it is supported throughout from analytics to pay. It is supported by network. You can see completely supported by network. It start with analyzing the data, your last procurement data or any data, any raw data. Once we analyze, we can see upper side it's supplier management. Downside you can say it's customer management. So when I say supplier management, so buyer has to manage the supplier, and in downside customer management, which is nothing but supplier has to manage their buyers. So in both side they have different roles and responsibilities or different tasks to do throughout the business interaction. So it starts with analyzing the data. At the same time, buyer will go for the market awareness, market leads, whether he'll discover the new leads for his business. Once we have any requirement, as I said, I have 3,000 of laptop required for my new organization. So once I do data enrichment, I'll go for sourcing. I'll select some few suppliers. I'll ask them to bid for my requirement. At the same time, supplier will bid for buyer's requirement. So depending upon the response, buyer will finalize one supplier. Whoever supplier he finalize, he'll create a contract with them. Both will share the same contract, having DocuSign on place. As I said e-signature. As I said, with network comes with e-signature. Once the contract is created, it will go for requisition. I mean, depending upon the requirement, it will go for requisition. So he will select from catalog. Buyer will select from catalog, which is there at the supplier side. As I said, there is no need to maintain any physical server. Just need to upload the catalog. You need not to have any Java or any other technology to use Ariba. Everything will be on cloud. You just need to have URL, as simple as Facebook or LinkedIn. Excuse me. So once the equation is created, it will go for approval, and once it is approved, it will be changed as order status, and once it is received, it will go for invoicing part. And so once invoice is created, after reconciliation, as I said, it will reconcile invoice, receipt, and PO. Once the reconciliation is done, payment will be carried out. So this is how complete process will be taken care. These are all the tasks which will be carried out at the time of doing business, actual business. So any doubts in this? I mean, it looks little clumsy, but I think.
Yeah. I have one doubt, Rakesh. Actually, you meant reconciliation means cross-checking PO, goods receipt, and invoice, is it?
Yes, PO, receipt, and invoice.
A receipt and invoice, or PO also?
PO, receipt, and invoice. Three-way reconciliation.
Yeah. Okay. And who will be doing this like cross-checking? Like the requester himself has to do, or like person who has received the goods, or person who is doing the payment from buyer side? Who will do this reconciliation cross-checking?
So actually, what happens? Every business will have different requirement. I mean, their team will be different. Procurement team, depending upon the size of the procurement. I mean, they can decide whether who has to do, whether requester has to do, whether owner of the project has to do. So anybody can do. That is from buyer end. Buyer end has to decide. I mean, their organization. So we'll have different groups, buyer groups for Ariba system, where we'll specify few people. So who will responsible for who can create PO, who can approve PO, who can responsible for receiving of goods, or who is responsible to respond for the invoice, or who is responsible for creating a reconciliation. So in this way we can do. And three-way reconciliation is done automatically. Nobody has to take care or do it manually. Once the three-way reconciliation is done, it will populate, I mean notify the responsible person that is it's good to pay, okay to pay. So you can go ahead and pay the cash. Am I clear?
Yes, Rakesh.
Yeah. So three-way reconciliation is something which is done automatically. Once invoice is generated, it will be automatically done. I mean, no need to do manually reconciliation. It will be automatically done. Once it's done, if there is no bugs or no conflicts in the what is that invoice, it will notify the responsible person that it is okay to pay. Otherwise, it will show that there is a conflict. We can even set threshold for this. For suppose if the PO or invoice is for $100, we can set, okay, if there is a conflict of $2 or $3, it's okay to pay. I mean, I need not to have any, I need not to go to supplier back and ask for why this conflict is coming. So in that way, we can also set a threshold for the invoice reconciliation. So moving on to next slide. So here we have a small comparison between Ariba customer versus best-in-class customer. How Ariba customers are excelling in different features provided by Ariba. So here we can see electronic invoices. So in Ariba we have 80% of the customers who are using electronic invoices. At the same time, best-in-class companies are using only 67% of the electronic invoices, and average companies are using only 25% of the electronic invoices. So when I'm saying electronic invoices, you can see in every process we have either business process efficiency or cost cutting. Here in electronic invoices, we'll have a very less number of paper used, so we can save in that way. Or we'll have process efficiency, as we are using electronic invoices. There are chances of getting errors will be reduced. So in that way, invoice exception, as I said, we have three-way reconciliation where the chances of getting error are very less. So here Ariba customers have only 2% of chances of getting errors, wherein best-in-class companies will have 12% of chances to getting errors, and average rated companies will be having chances of 17%. So these are the studied or studies provided by Abedin. Here we have sources also. So invoice per full-time staff, where in Ariba one resource can process 40,000 of invoices, wherein best-in-class one resource can process only 33,000 of invoices, and in average company only 11,000 of invoices can be processed. So here also we can see the cost cutting through reducing the resource. So as it is we have touchless processing in Ariba, where automatically approval flows and all, I mean PO flows automatically from one responsible person to another. So we have very limited touching process in Ariba, so it flows seamlessly. We have discount capture. Let me explain what is discount capturing. We have a solution called dynamic discounting, where system solution will have matrix to calculate whether where we can get the best discount, how we can get the best discount. For suppose we have doing business with one supplier, buyer is doing business with one supplier, where he has to pay $1 million to supplier in 1 month. So it will calculate, so solution will calculate if we pay in 10 days, what is the discount we could get. If we pay in 20 days, what is the discount we could get. If we pay in 30 days, what could the discount we will be getting. So once it calculated, if we are good with that, it will be, notification will be sent to the supplier. If he is also agreeing, we can get good discounts on that. So this is nothing but this dynamic discount capturing. So in Ariba, there are 98% of discount capturing scenarios are there, or 98% company capture the discount. In best in class, there is only 70%, and average class only 50%. And there is very less chances of contract leakage, as it is mutually signed by both the parties on the same platform. So any changes or any leakage in the contract, it will notify both the parties So very less chances of getting contract leakage, which is 0.2 percentage. In where in Western class there are chances of 0.48, and average companies there are chances of 0.94 percentage. So this is about how features help in increase in the business process as well as cost cutting. So any doubts in this? Okay. So now comes the implementation methodology, how it is implemented. So as I said, it's a cloud product. There is not much requirement of any technical consultant. A good functional consultant can go ahead and do the implementation. So there are three phases as for Ariba, SAP Ariba. Mainly three phases are there before go live, which are nothing but requirement phase, design and build phase, testing phase. Once this testing is done, we'll have go live. So I'll explain how requirement gathering and design are carried out. So requirement gathering is something where the functional consultant will interact with the customer. I mean, one consultant from the buyer end will interact with the functional consultant or functional lead from the supplier end, or sorry, by okay, let me clear on this before going to the implementation. So how it is carried out. So functional consultant, something from it could be from SAP, or it could be a implementation partner, whoever are working on SAP or as a functional consultant. For suppose some, okay, let me give an example. For suppose Genpact is implementing Ariba and it is sold by SAP, and the implementation partner is TCS. So from TCS, one person will implement Ariba to Genpact. So now let me take this example and explain you about the consultants or about the resource allocation. So one person from TCS, that is functional consultant, he'll be responsible for implementing Ariba in Genpact. So he'll be taking care of requirement, business process requirement of Genpact, whether how they carry out their procurement process, how they use their business, or what is their spend, what are their key suppliers. So all the requirement, all the business requirement, or whatever requirement which is required for the solution to be built will be taken care by this functional consultant at the time of requirement gathering. That is nothing but the requirement confirmation stage. Once the business process is with us, we feel now we create design process. I mean, we'll build the design system where we'll accommodate all the business processes of the client in the system, in the solution. We'll fill the workbooks. We'll take the master and material master and vendor master of the client, and we load it to the system. Actually, what happens here? We only act as a mediator. I mean, as a functional consultant, we act as a mediator. We just take the information or data from the client, and we'll forward it to the SAP. So as a cloud solution, SAP will take care for the loading of the data. They'll load the data into the system, and so that is the part of SAP. So that is completely into the building phase. So if we have any integration part, I mean, if you want the solution to be integrated with any third party or backend system, so it comes in the build phase. So integration we have to take care as a implementation partner. we should take care of integrating the solution with the any backend. So once the system is built, it will go for the test phase. At the time of testing, once this testing is done, we will give the test scripts. Once the testing is done, it will we have to give end user training to the client. Once the end user training is done, we are good to go with the go live. The same thing will be moved to the production, and generally implementation partner will give 1 or 2 weeks of customer support, post go live support. Generally we give. So this is about Ariba implementation. I think you'll be having lots of questions on this. You can go ahead and ask. Hello. Yeah.
So, so you're telling about TCS implementing the project for Genpact.
Mhm.
Huh?
Yes, yes. I mean, generally, I'm taking a rough example. Huh?
Okay, okay. Generally, I'm just had a question. So, what could be the implementation like configuring ERP system with Ariba, and what would be like landscape?
That's what I'm saying. You need not to have landscape in your premises. Everything will be taken care by Ariba. They'll just share one URL with you with credential. Every setup will be there in their end cloud. You will be sharing the application. It will be there in cloud. So you will be logging in with your ID and password. That's it.
Got it.
No physical server is required for this. And coming to the integration part, it's open to any integration, whether it's on-premises on-premises ERP or cloud ERP. So it can be integrated to any ERP using middleware or using ITK or web services. So we have different channels of integration. So it is open to any ERP. Excuse me.
Yeah, this is Bosco, and I have a question about the Ariba system. Usually in ERP, in ECC, on a project, you can move from sandbox to dev to QA to production. On the Ariba side, is there any type of stuff to move maybe from dev to production? Do they have QA? Do they have dev? Do they have sandbox on the Ariba side? I know obviously the production system is there, but I want to know if they have other systems.
Yeah, Bosco, we have both systems, test system as well as product system. We have only two systems. It's not, there is no other sandbox or development system. We have only two systems, that is test system and production system. We'll test at the time of implementation. We'll test with test system. Once we are good to go, we take sign off from the client and we'll move it to the production. Am I clear with your question? Did I answer your question, Bosco?
Yes, that's a good answer. But I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that, since you're saying that everything like loading, just say vendors, material, all those material group, or whatever we want to put in Ariba, we send back to SAP. We're going to take care of that.
So while you will be the implementation partner, your organization, whatever your organization is, when it's an implementation partner, we'll get one project manager from Ariba company, the product company. So he'll guide you how to carry out the project implementation. He'll give the test scripts. So he is responsible for the project implementation, but he is not known to the client. We'll be facing the client. Face-to-face interaction will be done with us as a functional consultant, implementation partner. So he from we'll take the data from client, we'll forward the same data. If you allow, I'll show you Ariba how we have to collect the data from the client and forward the same to the SAP. It's taking time. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. It's very easy job for a functional consultant for Ariba. We just need to know the uh, product features, how to use the product, what are the capabilities of the product. Rest of the implementation part is very easy, as easy as, you know, it's I can show you just a moment. So yeah, so we have to take the data from the client in this manner. What are the department, like sales or marketing, finance, accounting, whatever the department they want to include in the solution. What are the commodity codes, which is nothing but, you know, material master. If we have any commodity mappings from ERP, you can also take those unit of measures, currency conversions. So all these we have to take in this manner.
You are showing your screen. Rakesh, I could not see your screen. Actually, I see a desktop. Not see your screen. You're presenting something.
Yeah, so are you able to see the screen, my screen, this Excel sheet?
Yes, I can see the screen, the Excel spreadsheet.
Are you able to see, sir? I don't know your name.
Bosco is in the screen.
Hi, yeah. So, yeah. So now you're able to see, right? So this is how we have to collect the data from the external, I mean, the client, and we have to give it same to the SAP. So they'll take care of loading the data to the system, but it should be clear and crisp. It should be enough, because organization, I mean, client won't have in the same format. We have to arrange in the same format and give it to the SAP. So I just wanted to show this. Now coming to the presentation part, yeah. So yeah, Bosco, if you have any doubts on this, you just can clarify.
No, it's not about that doubt. I mean, you're saying that those are the templates they provide to consultant.
Yeah.
You're going to get the data from the client, and after you get the data from the client, you pass it on to
Yes.
the SAP consultant to do the loading.
Yes.
The other question I have is about those user exits. Sometimes in ECC, we can use some user exit to satisfy, I mean, to respond to one requirement from the client. Is there any stuff like that in Ariba? Do they have user exit in Ariba?
I mean, I don't have much, you know, exposure on ECC side, because I'm purely a Ariba consultant. But there is no as such, you know, I never had such terminology or such functionality in Ariba. It's like, I mean, just can you give the background what is user exit, so that I can, you know, explain you whether it's there in Ariba or not. What is that?
User exit, there are some program in SAP. I can see it's just some slot we can have in a program in ECC. So
Okay.
you can use it to improve, just say, one transaction. Maybe they want on the screen a brand new box or data, and you can look for user exit card that can allow you maybe to add, I don't know, just pick up one example of whichever transaction. Maybe that transaction does not have just a material number, but the client wants the material number to pop up on that screen.
Okay, your question now makes sense. Actually, those customization can't be, you know, done from consultant level. If we have any requirement, if we want any, you know, pop-ups or any new fields on the UI, you have to raise a request to SAP Ariba. They'll take care. We cannot do any customization to the existing application.
All right.
So yeah.
And Rakesh, if it is Ariba on demand, we can make changes by ourselves, is it? If we
If
buy
it's Ariba
Ariba,
on-prem,
sorry, Ariba on
on-premise,
demand. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
But the SAP stopped, selling Ariba on-premises.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are only continuing with Ariba on-demand
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
because they don't want to, give, complete ownership of their application to the client. So that's the reason. It comes with subscription and that comes with license, complete license.
And huge number of people would be working from SAP Ariba side, right? Like Ariba with SAP team on Ariba because of customization.
Yeah, I mean for every customization, we'll raise a request. So one responsible for person will be working closely with us. He'll be responsible for the complete, uh, there might be number of people working background of the, request for the request, but only one person will be face to face interacted with us or directly interacted with us. He'll be responsible for the complete customization. So he'll take care what is the status. So he'll be, the ticket owner kind of thing.
Okay.
So, am I clear?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Rakesh.
Moving on to implementation team structure. So this is how implementation takes place, where we'll have one procure to pay lead. According to the solution, we'll have different leads: sourcing work stream lead, supplier enablement lead, catalog enablement lead. So all these are functional leads. And we have one training lead where whose responsibility is to train the end user, which are nothing but client. So at the same time, client should also have one process expert functional who is responsible for giving requirement, their business process, so that we can accommodate same in the Ariba solution. We'll have one technical expert who will be responsible for pulling the data from ERP or any their backend system. We'll have one enablement team where they'll help us enabling the supplier or user profiles. They'll also have one training lead where who is responsible for the training of their complete organization, complete enterprise. And also one system admin who on DSC. So any request raised from your company for change request should be raised from this DSC, designated support contact. So we'll be having a separate credential for DSC. So he has to create any request or any change request, any service request, he has to create from there his end. So he's will be acting as a system admin as well. Excuse me. So these are the best practices to ensure for a successful project implementation. So supplier enablement, customer training program. Supplier enablement is nothing but supplier onboarding. So as a implementation partner, we have to we are responsible for onboarding the suppliers to the network at the initial stage. And customer training program, that is nothing but client and user training, supplier training as well. If required, we can give key customized trainings, like for everyone we cannot give same training, like for a project creator the training should be different, for system admin the training should be different, for DSC the training should be different. So in the same way, the functional consultant or the implementation company has to give customized trainings. We have to train them best practices, how to carry out sourcing in your system, in Ariba system. We have to give the best practices as well as procurement best practices. So that is for the best, for the successful implementation, should do all these tasks and activities. Any doubt on this? Karthi, are you able to listen my voice now clearly, or is it still cracking or breaking?
Now it's very good, Rakesh. Now it's very good.
Thanks, thanks. So all these are latest release innovation from Ariba side. So as I said, it's a cloud solution. Any release will be coming for Ariba, will or any bug fixes will be taken place in every 3 months quarterly. So here it will be automatically updated as as simple as our phone updates, right? In the same way, it will automatically update. There is no need to do shutdown or downtime for Ariba. Ariba claims that 99.99% of uptime. So these are all the new innovation from the system side, like Ariba Pay for Canada. So Canada have different taxation, and also there is a different pay for Ariba pay solution for Ariba. At the same time, we have a Brazilian tax invoicing, so which is different. Brazil tax invoicing is different. At the same time, Japanese address format enhancement. So generally in Japan, they start with pin code. After that, area, locality, state. So their format of address is different, totally reverse. So they come up with Japanese address format enhancements where it will compatible with Japanese address. So all these are network innovations, and these are all application innovations. So as at this point, I think I don't need to go through all those things, which is once we are into solution, we'll know what are these features. So moving on to this is roadmap. I mean, what are the future innovation for Ariba? What are the future new coming? What's new for Ariba for future roadmap? So you can see. So without wasting time, I'll go for dashboard navigation. I mean, any doubts in this? I mean, what is a solution is network? Any